So a few weeks ago, I told the whole heads, if you leave us a review on iTunes, 5 stars, then you could pick an episode or we could do something cool. Right after I did that, someone did leave a review. Okay. Mm-hmm. So that's awesome. This one person, you're dope. They didn't leave a name or anything. So I'm going to say the name of their iTunes account right now. What do you think? And tell them to reach out.
Yeah.
Because my whole thing was leave a review and then we'll do something you pick. But I didn't really say how people could tell us what they picked and stuff. Is basically what I'm getting at. You know what I'm saying?
What if they didn't leave the review, though, because you told them to?
It was just because they were so inspired by our dope pod?
Yeah.
Maybe. Okay, I'll say the account starts with LAS. So if anybody listening, if that's you, message us either on Instagram or the email, which I'll put in the description of this episode. Okay. All right. We've got some secrets in the morgue to discuss, and I say we uncover them right now. Attention shoppers, we've got to clean up on ILH.
What the other wolves think?
A true crime cleanup on ILH.
Diabolical.
Starting now.
No, he's telling you that she's bats.
Howdy, old heads. Kurt Money here, alongside my co-host,
Kateline.
And we are taking a trip back to the morgue today. Well, not back to. We've done morgue-type shows, but this is our first party with Secrets of the Morgue, is it not?
Yeah.
This is Secrets of the Morgue.
I had to really double-check my records because I was like, I feel like we've done this show, and there were a few on my list. I'm happy to get into it, and let me read you the IMDb, which I got to look up real quick. To the Goog. Okay, no, that gives out way too much. Look, here's the description. This is from KMDB, okay?
This is a spontaneous KMDB.
Yeah, this could be a little bit more loosey-goosey, so maybe the music bed should reflect that. Here we go. This tale is in the early 80s in St. Louis, and this lady dies in a car crash, and they say it was just an accident. But there's one cop who's like, I don't think so. And it takes a baller-ass coroner
Emmy
to pop in and save the day, and all of a sudden, we've got 2 murders to solve. Boom. KMDB nailing those descriptions. Just pew, 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 pew.
Not bad.
Tell me, what did you think of Secrets of the Morgue?
I liked this show. I thought the quality was good. I did not like the VO.
The lady?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fair.
Something more sinister is at play.
We never see her. She's just a voice, a Peter Thomas sort.
Yeah.
But no one can hold a candle to Mr. Peter Thomas.
No.
Succinylcholine.
I don't know if it was the cock acting up, but I felt like weird things were happening with filters where randomly halfway through a talking head, it would get darker. Like the screen, it was like they were about to cut to B-roll, and every time they were about to cut to it, the filter for the B-roll started too soon. So the tail end of every talking head, it got a little dim.
Huh. I don't know. I did not see that on my end, but, we could not put it past the cock. Mm-hmm. If there's one thing they love to do, it's to create problems we did not know could exist. Mm-hmm. All right, so I'm glad that you liked it. I, too, dug it. I love a good, like we said with that other one, that tell me how you died.
Tell me.
It depends on the personality of the medical examiner we're talking to. Mm-hmm. And I feel like old Dr. Mary Kay's delivered.
Yes.
I have never done anything like that before.
But before we get to her, our story begins. This is St. Charles, Missouri, October 19th of 1983. Cops get a call about a car that went off the side of the road. Cop shows up, and he is like looking at the body. He's like, it's weird. The car, there's not a lot of damage to the car. It's like there's a fender bender up front. But inside the car, the driver's side of the car is on fire.
Yeah. Key point.
Yeah. And what is the state of the body that is in the car? And also tell us where it is. That's what I think is going to play into this.
So the body, which they assume is the driver of the car, is not in the driver's seat, but crunched up underneath the dashboard panel. Kind of mostly in the passenger side.
And she was stuffed up underneath the dash.
If she was driving, how did she end up like that?
And how did she end up tucked underneath the dash if it's only this tiny little fender bender? Mm-hmm. This is what the cop's thinking. And this was crazy too, because he's like, so I climb in the car because the car's on fire. He's thinking maybe he has to save somebody.
It was at that point that I noticed a great deal of injury to the back of her head.
But he feels, he said this lady wore a wig, and he felt the back of her head, and he said it felt mushy.
It was mushy.
And I was like, dude, back up. You need to back out of there slowly, dude. What are you doing? Touching her mushy brains.
You're touching her brains, dude.
Yeah.
It's kind of mushy.
And immediately he's like, well, wait a minute. the back of the head shouldn't be mushy. In a car crash, the injury should be to the front of the head.
Yeah.
The only way I could think of it hitting the back is if you're driving and you're turning around in your seat looking behind you in the back seat,
right,
and you hit something and your head hits the windshield or whatever. But
yeah. But then your body would be outside the car.
Yes.
Or at least on the hood. Like, they show some pretty decent pictures, don't they, of this body, this blurred body that's like, it's really weird how much it's tucked in.
It's very bizarre. And the car, like you said, I wouldn't even call it a fender bender. It had like minor damage to one of the headlights. And then the left side is on fire.
Yeah. It's weird. And I got to say, they have, so this episode came out, it aired December 14th of 2018, which gives me confirmation that they actually found an old car and spruced it up to look like this for the shoot. So now they didn't get the color of the car correct.
No.
It was white in the photos and this was like a brown or something. It was a dark, okay? I don't want to sidetrack us too much with what we think it was, but it was a dark car, correct?
Kurt?
What, Kate?
That PT Cruiser was a bluish silver.
That's exactly what I want to avoid here. I want to keep that stink out of here. Okay, but they really did find a model of this car and put like fake blood on it and did like a shoot and stuff. So I'm giving them credit because like today I wouldn't trust it. It could be AI in a heartbeat. But they really, and they get their money's worth, don't they? We see some real sexy shots of this car.
So is that B-roll? Yeah.
What do I say here? B-roll.
You killing it?
It was! That is what we call it.
Okay.
B-roll, you killing it.
It's been so long because B-roll is typically very bad.
Yeah, it just gets busted left and right. You're right.
My immediate reaction is, why do they think that she was alone in this car and it was just her crashing her car? The position of the body, I would immediately be like, well, the driver clearly got out.
Yeah.
Who was driving? It's not her.
Yeah.
Because she's not even in the driver's side. But that wasn't really what they were thinking.
No. It's weird. There's many choices made at the beginning here that are the kinds that fly us into a rage. Now, luckily, some better heads prevailed and stepped in on this. But I'm with you. The first few beats of this, I'm like, who are these idiots looking at this car?
The accident reconstruction showed that the vehicle had traveled along a small ravine, impacted with a tree.
So they find an ID and they say it's Sharon Williams. She's a mother, she's 43, and they call her husband Jim, and he met them at the hospital. Next morning, Jim takes her off life support and she dies. Now, Deputy Copeland, they talk about how they had like an accident report where somebody like goes through, they were using words like drag coefficients. Like there are like scientific ways to determine how this happened. And in this accident report, it says that it lost control of the car, veered off, and she hit her head in the wreck and died. And Copeland's like, no, it's not. That's not how it happened. For all the reasons that we're saying, where it's like, okay, it's the back of her head that's bloody, right? The car's not even dinged up. But classic response here, right? Well, the results are in. I can't do anything about it, can I?
My hands are tied.
Yeah, my friggin' hands are tied. But it bugged them.
The reconstruction report was accepted by the sheriff, and the accident in and of itself was just kind of put to rest.
Then 3 years pass. And then I don't know if this is the introduction of Dr. Mary Case. I don't know if she was hired on in this role or she was brought in specifically because she's labeled as, she's based out of Missouri and stuff. Like
she's only one of 15 people.
How cool is that?
With this specialty in the country.
Yeah.
And she just happens to be in St. Louis.
It's two things. It's like neuroscience and whatever.
Dr. Case is one of just 15 specialists in the country, trained in both neuropathology and forensic pathology.
And so Copeland goes to her and is like, look, I've got this weird case that I really think you should look at. And I liked that they said a heavyweight chief medical examiner came in.
Until a new heavyweight chief medical examiner comes to town.
And I would say yes, because guess where I know Dr. Mary Case from?
Where, Kurt? Fear thy nabes?
FF!
Oh.
No, FF, dude. For sure, FF. She's on a bunch, and she's super cool in there, too.
Dr. Mary Case had a unique background. She was not only the pathologist, she was also a board-certified neuropathologist.
You know what I love about her?
What's that?
She's older, but she kind of talks like a millennial. She goes.
You think so?
And I was like, and we were like, and I don't know that I've heard a boomer say they were like.
And I'm like, okay, this'll take me a few days. It was like, okay.
So he brings in like a stack of papers for her to look at, but she looks through it and she's like, how could there be a laceration in the back of her head, 2 lacerations that caused the most, like what killed her, and there's no frontal impacts. And actually what is on her head, she has like an abrasion here and a little cut here. Those are the kinds of accidents that this fender bender would make.
Yes.
So she's like, well, clearly her body was damaged, put in this car, and then wrecked on purpose.
And then lit on fire.
Yeah, and that's what we're thinking too. So she wrote a letter to a state attorney. So does that just mean a DA? It's just a
no.
Or that's district attorney.
That's district
so
attorney.
So are there a lot of state attorneys, or is there one state attorney?
I don't know.
Because I'm curious, because she writes to this one state attorney who says she says it's like a quote, like direct quote from him. Yeah, I'm not going to do that. Right? What's his reaction vibe here? He's like, yeah, big deal. I'm out.
And he was like,
Yeah, this was wild, right? I mean, what's he care?
He just doesn't want to do the paperwork.
And I finally am able to talk to that man, and he simply says, I'm not doing that. Nobody could make this man move.
And she says, well, that's not good enough for me. And so after 5 months of stonewalling, she makes the decision. Now, this is what puts this baby on the list.
This is what made my jaw drop.
Yes, absolutely. So what step does heavyweight medical examiner Mary Case do here?
Well, she decides to take matters into her own hands. And if she can't get the approval from the state attorney to exhume the body to conduct another autopsy, she's just gonna do it herself.
In this case, it was a very strong forensic feeling. I believed this woman had been killed. But I decided to perform an illegal exhumation.
Yeah. So I gotta say this. She just wanted the case investigated. It wasn't even about, I don't think she was asking that state guy to exhume it yet.
I think that she knew she would have to in order to get this case re-examined.
Okay. I think it's kind of cooler if, why do you insist that? Why do you insist that?
Because I just watched it 3 hours ago.
Okay.
I feel like that's what happened.
Okay.
I write a letter to the state's attorney. I say what the evidence is that I have and that I need to exhume this body.
And now this was crazy because we're like, what do you mean you're just going to do an exhumation? What the hell are you?
How are you going to do that?
Yeah.
And she said, hold my beer.
Dr. Case is on questionable legal ground, and her credibility is on the line.
And this was really cool because she contacts the mother of, Sharon's mother, right? Mm-hmm. Sorry, you really sidetracked me there. I mean, I watched it 3 hours ago too, Kate, and took notes on it.
Okay.
You're putting your foot down now. Future Kurt here to add a line to the notes. Current Kurt, take this down. You're dumb. Kateline was right on this, so just friggin' drop it.
I need to exhume this body.
And she goes, so I reached out to Sharon's mom. Now, Sharon's mom did not have the right to okay this. I assume they would have to go to Jim, the husband.
They would probably have to get a lot of people's permission. But she just wanted moral support, really.
Yes.
Just to know that somebody was behind her.
I feel like it was a good move because she's about to piss a lot of people off. So if she has the mother of the dead woman on her side, I feel like it's a good move. And I feel like they didn't go to Jim because they're already cooking up. Well, we don't want to go to the husband.
We think he did it.
Who knows? Who knows?
The husbands usually have something to do with it.
And so the mom says, no, go for it. Absolutely do it.
She had no hesitation in giving me this permission to exhume this body.
So they go to the funeral home, they dig up the casket, and we see friggin' photos. What a friggin' baller move right here. And she goes, and so then they have the autopsy back at the morgue, and a few detectives are supervising it. Mm-hmm. This is the ballsy move. She goes, now look, I knew this was illegal. This exhumation would not be able to go in court, but if I find something that merits bringing her up, I'll just put her back in the ground and we'll dig her up again.
Insane. And we'll do it all over again. I'll do the autopsy again and we'll note and bag the evidence again.
But I knew that if I got the information I needed, I would then be able to put everything back and then get a legal order and do it again.
I don't understand how this is what last week when we were talking about how the people that got their own DNA thing, remember? Where it's like, well, they collected themselves. There's no chain of command or whatever. This is the case I was thinking about where it's like, well, I've seen someone do something illegal knowing that if they get information out of the illegal act, they can go back and do the illegal act legally with permission. This is what I was thinking of.
But couldn't they also argue that doing this illegal exhumation tainted all the evidence?
Well, I mean, tainted it, I guess. I mean, you would think.
Like, who's to say they didn't plant things?
What, like a brand new skull or something?
But just changing some of the results just to make it so that the third autopsy would be messed up.
Right. Well, I guess it didn't, because this friggin' works.
I get back with the detective and I say, well, I think you've got a homicide here.
Right. Copeland gets the call from Case and he's like, boom. Yes, I knew it. That's cool.
It made me feel good that I was, in fact, right.
This is where she talks about the front injuries and the back head injuries, how those are massive. I think you got a homicide here. Yes, I also think that.
Wait, you do or Copeland does?
Me, I think.
Okay.
I just want to let them know I'm on board with them right now. So now it is a murder investigation. They go talk to the husband, Jim. And this was wild. They talked to someone who knows him, said he was a big teddy bear of a guy. Now, without talking spoilers, Kate, I mean, you lose this title once you do something. What do you think? If I tiptoe it around here, don't you think he does not deserve the title of a teddy bear of a guy?
He definitely does not.
He was a well-respected electrician, I think, or something.
And then they showed us B-roll of some string lights.
Yeah, they did.
You'd need an electrician for that.
This is what he would do. But apparently he was big enough where if he supported local candidates, the constituents would like it.
They would win.
So like maybe this is why the state attorney was like, I'm not doing that. I've got some track lighting I need installed.
He had a lot. They made a point to say that he had a lot of friends in high places, in government, in police, in all kinds of stuff. So that does kind of make sense if that state attorney was like, what's his name? No.
Yeah. So now here we are. It's 3 years later. They go talk to Jim. Now, good thing for Jim is he's gotten over the despair and heartbreak of his wife dying. He's now remarried.
Jim expressed grief and then eventually married Joanne.
He's doing good.
So here's my question.
What's that?
He's remarried. What happens to that burial plot that he's sharing with his first wife?
Good call, because we see it a few times,
We see shots a few times of their shared burial plot, which is totally normal for a married couple. But his new wife isn't going to want him buried with the old wife.
Good call. I don't know. I mean, I think that's a great cue. But he's married to this woman named Joanne. Now, what's funny is 2 months after Sharon Williams died in this accidental car wreck, Joanne's husband, Walter Scott, went missing. What's going on here? So now we got 2 married people whose spouses, one's missing and one died in an accident. Within 2 months of each other, right?
Walter Scott was reported as a missing person approximately 2 months after Sharon Williams' incident.
Now, one could say, maybe they met at some kind of grief counseling thing.
Yeah.
Maybe they met at their local church and they both bonded over the loss of their spouses.
God, you should have been there to represent them, I think. They think it's now connected, and they say coincidences don't exist.
They just don't exist.
Which, guess what? I feel like I may have said this in the past, but I'm adding this to my list when they talk about coincidences and how they don't believe in them, because it happens a bunch, okay? I'm a cop. I don't believe in coincidences. There's no such thing. Okay? So there's a little tease.
Kick-ass.
Now we get the background on Joanne and Walter. It's Joanne and Walter, no ties. Now, we talked to Walter's mom, who is barely hanging on.
Wally would have never went off without telling me he was leaving. Never.
I'm not sure she's still with us. This is from 2018. Do you think she's still kicking?
No, and why did they let her go on television without plucking that chin whisker?
I saw that. I did see that.
It was like 2 inches long. Why'd they do her dirty like that? I mean, not just her family members, but the producers of the show.
Yeah.
No one's going to come in and be like, can I just...
Dink.
Doink. I do that to Jill.
Yeah?
If she's going out and I see a bunch of hairs, I'm like, get in here. Doink, 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 doink.
It's now time for Name Corner again, because their name is No Ties, but it's spelled Notheis. Now, I guarantee there was not one time when a no ties person was in school and they were taking roll call, or when they're, what's that called? When people, is it roll call?
Attendance.
Attendance. When they're taking attendance. Has anyone ever said that right? I don't think. It does not look like no ties.
It's Nothies.
Yeah. Okay, so Walter disappears. Now, here's the tricky part with this. This was also another good little aspect to the episode that made it interesting is that his name is Walter Scott, but that's his stage name.
Because he's a performer.
He absolutely is. And we see a picture of him, and he's like a lead singer of like a swing band or something. Like we talked to the guy who started the band, but he's a player, right? He was a big stud, but they're thinking like, well, he's like, Mr. Musician, and he actually had a reputation to dip out sometimes, which is interesting because we've heard that thrown as possibilities, and a lot of times we're like, boo-hoo, no way.
Right.
But that's often has to do with the mom in that scenario.
Yeah, the mom doesn't leave her kids over and over again.
Yeah. Dude, side note, I watched an FF where the mom did. Where the same thing where they were like...
Shirley Dugan had been known in the past to take off for a couple of days, not tell anyone where she had gone, and then return.
I was like, oh my God, FF, you're making us liars over here.
That's really funny.
But that's the only time. If it was going to happen anywhere, it's got to be buried in an FF, I think.
It gets a pass.
Yeah. Okay, so they're like, well, he would often leave, or maybe he went to go perform somewhere else, or he was a big fan. He was big with the ladies, so he could be out sleeping around. But they were about to perform at like a big show in December. This is October. And like, so he wouldn't have dipped out on all these things that he had already agreed upon doing.
Right.
So that's the thinking, well, okay, that's interesting.
He was about to play the biggest show of his career, basically. He was going to make more money than he had ever made at a gig. And he wouldn't want to miss that.
Right. So the night he went missing, Joanna said, hey, go out to the garage and get some paperwork or something. They must have an unattached garage because he puts on a coat and shoes and stuff, and he's like, I'll be right back.
Joanne said she came into the kitchen and said, you need to go up to the garage, you need to get the paperwork done on the car.
But he never returns. And it's at 2 a.m. this night when Joanne calls the cops to make a missing persons report. Now, that's too early for anybody to call in a missing persons report, although I wouldn't necessarily blame someone if they did. But it's very interesting in this case because this guy's known for dipping out for periods of time.
Yeah.
So they're like, Joanne, how the hell do you know that he's missing? It's only 2 a.m.
He'll be back. He always comes back.
Yeah.
Unless you know something about where he is.
That's right. So they didn't really put too much of an effort in to find him, but Joanne did send some of her friends. She said, hey, what if his car's at the airport? Joanne says this, like, hey, maybe that's a good idea.
Hey, just spitballing. What if it's at the airport? I didn't put it there, but what if?
No. And can you girls go out and check for me? I'm not going to go with you. No reason. I'm not going to be with you when you find it. But if you do find it, that's what I'm saying. If it's there, that'd be great news. And so those friends go out, and wouldn't you know it,
it's there.
They find the car. It's at the airport. There's nothing in it. The cops are looking into who it could be, and they're really diving into this. It could be a jealous husband thing. Like maybe he was off sleeping with one of the backup singers or something. But now they're thinking that, and it wasn't shortly after that Joanne and Jim married. I mean, they're together now. And this is when the cops are like, well, these are together now. These are the same case.
Yeah.
Let's keep cracking. And so they're going, okay, what is the connection? Is there a connection prior to them being married? And then they remember that when the cop got there at 7 a.m. the next day to do this missing persons thing, who was there in her corner supporting Joanne?
That would be Jim.
Jim was there the morning of.
What are you doing there, Jim?
When the deputy arrived at the house, he identified a gentleman that was at the house by the name of Jim Williams.
It is not looking good. So that's crazy. And then also the neighbors all knew about that they were having an affair. And it was funny because the neighbors knew what gifts he had given her. Do you remember this? It was like clothes, jewelry, and poetry books.
Lame.
Poetry books. Yeah. And the guy's like, I don't know why nobody said anything. And yeah, I guess that's a good cue. So they're thinking that Sharon was hit in the head twice prior to the accident, put in there to fake it like a death accident. And also, Walter's parents come over the next day. So this is the day after he goes missing, who's still there going through Walter's personal belongings.
It's Jim. He's got all of Walter's jewelry out on the kitchen island, and he's going through it. A quick save would have been like, we're going through it to give it to you.
Right.
But also, he's only just missing at this point. he could very well come back through the door, and then what? All of his jewelry's going to be given to his parents or something? That would be weird too.
Yeah, and at the same time, also they've got to be like, who is this guy, right? Because I don't.
And why is he touching our son's stuff?
Yes. Also, at the same time, Joanne is on the phone canceling all of his future shows. This is legitimately less than 48 hours after he's gone missing, and she's already canceling all these huge gigs.
Yeah, that is hella suspicious.
Hella suspicious, Joanne.
There was a big place in the Poconos that he was playing for New Year's Eve, and that was going to bring the most money he ever had made, and she canceled this.
And also, Joanne did not, we're talking to this mom, and she's like, Joanne didn't talk to me once, not once. Now, if there is ever a huge glaring red flag of if a spouse is responsible for the other spouse's death, one telltale sign is that they do not talk to the parents of the deceased. I mean, that's crazy.
They just completely cut off the spouse's family. That's such a classic move.
Yeah, and to me, it's so obviously shady, though. Like, Joanne, you're trying to pull this trick off. Talk to the mom. This to me, I feel like she needs to answer in court. Like, why would an innocent person not talk to the mom of their husband that just died? I don't know. Very stupid.
I didn't talk to Joanne at all. I didn't visit with her. She didn't come to the house, and I didn't go.
Okay, so they're not getting anything out of Joanne or Jim, and they go, hey, you know what? Jim's got an adult son that's in prison down in a certain state. What state is that, Kate? Where are we going?
Florida.
They shoot down to Florida, and they go talk to Jim's son in jail, and they're like, look, sorry, your mom's dead. Is there like let's just say, if Big Jim were a killer, where do you think he would put the bodies if he killed somebody, right? And you're thinking, boy, this is a risky thing to ask Jim Jr. But what we don't know, and they do, is how does Jim Jr. feel about Big Jim?
He doesn't like him.
No.
So he rolls on him real fast.
And what does he say? He goes,
did you check his cistern?
They go,
and
yeah.
They're like, excuse me?
Yeah.
And he's like,
Jim has a sister?
The hole in the backyard where you would put a body. Did you check that hole where you put bodies? Because he's got one.
Yep. And they're like, oh, no, I guess we didn't. Thanks, Jim. And then Jim Jr.'s like, can I get some time off of my sentence? And they said, no, sorry, dude.
Nope.
You should have held that over us beforehand.
Did you think they said sister?
Yeah.
At first?
I did.
Yeah. I was like, oh, wow, his sister is hiding bodies for him. Cool.
Yeah. No. So the cops go back and they're like, they look into the history of the cistern. It turns out in December of 84, so like it's been a little over a year since Sharon's gone, Jim had this flower pot planted on top of this cistern. And what was weird is he's doing it in December, so the ground is hard as hell. So people at the time were wondering, like, why is he doing this right now? Like, he had it professionally installed. Mm-hmm. And we see pictures of it, and I think this is why the cops didn't know it was there, because it did look like just a straight-up huge-ass, like, flower bed, didn't it?
It did. It was also ugly.
That it was. But I guess, because that's what I was like, cops, you didn't think that, like, hole in his backyard would be good to check out. But if all they saw was a flower pot, I mean...
Yeah.
Right? I mean, although he didn't install it for a year, though.
Right. That's a long time to just be having a body exposed to the elements like that.
Yeah, and I don't know if his thinking was, I'll wait until things die down, and then I'll do this. Like,
Maybe.
Would it be too suspicious if I do it right now?
Why didn't he fill it with cement and make it into like a concrete slab or like a whole back deck area?
You know what? I think that would be the better move, because... what the hell does a cistern do? Are they necessary? Because he just covered this thing. Like, is it still cisterning? Like, they talk about it. It's just like a 20-foot drop that collects water.
It's just a well.
Yeah, but they don't need to use it in any way.
No.
So, yeah, you're right. I mean, they should have done something like that for sure. But they get a warrant. They give Mary Case a call, and she's like, I show up. It's like a circus there. And we see footage of it. Isn't there there's a lot of great footage of them like digging up this cistern thing, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, there's like 3 or 4 dudes decked out in their 80s garb, digging this thing up.
Yeah.
And then the floodlights come on.
Yeah. And they dig it up and they look in, and he had poured cement around it.
Yeah.
There was cement, right?
But not in it.
But he didn't fill it. He did not fill it, absolutely. But so they dig out this hole, and they've got Mary Case there. They shine a light down there. And what does she say?
She sees Walter.
And they could see and tell that that was, in fact, a body in the bottom in a blue jogging suit.
And they flash back because earlier when Joanne had filed the missing persons report, she said the thing he was wearing last time I saw him, blue jogging suit.
Yep.
Boom. Yep. Here it is. And then they find a bag underneath him with his ID in it. And so this is absolutely Walter.
This is Walter.
Now this was awesome and icky and gross and cool and also interesting. Mary Case goes, okay, so she's talking about picking the skull up. And she goes, and I did it with my bare hands because we didn't have gloves. Oh, what?
Gross.
Did nobody bring gloves to this? You brought the cameras. You brought the floodlights.
Bring gloves.
Why did they bring freaking gloves? What? Genuinely, Kate, why did they not bring them?
That's a chain of custody issue right there.
I couldn't believe it. And she was like, so I just picked it up. And this was so gross. She said some of the vertebrae were still like hanging on.
Yeah.
So that's like, now this movie I keep talking about that you haven't seen, but in Bone Temple, Alpha, the big zombie rips people's heads out and the vertebrae of the spine is hanging and stuff.
No, I saw it.
Oh, you did?
I watched it 2 nights ago.
The other night? Oh, I thought you were just saying, why are there so many friggin' 28 years later things? I didn't know you actually peeped it.
I peeped Bone Temple, yeah.
What'd you think?
It's good.
I like it.
How's that?
But the problem is now, how do we get the body out of here? Because it's filled with water. There's a whole new type of decomposition that happens to a body in water, and we got the name of it. Do you remember this, Kate? This was giving me that FF high where I was like, oh, yeah, give me terms. Give me terms.
I don't remember the terms.
Adipocere.
Right.
We call it adipocere. The shape of the body is preserved, but it's almost like bread.
And if you touch it,
it crumbles.
It crumbles. So they can't just scoop it out of there. So they've got to get a tray, like a basket kind of, underneath him to bring it up carefully. Mm-hmm. That's interesting, huh?
And we see the basket going down.
We do. We see the basket. They showed a picture of the well when they're like, they could see a body. And I was like, come show us a blue jogging suit. Show us just a touch of blue. What do you think?
It was very hard to see.
I don't think it was in that. I think they had to be more down. Like, I'm not even sure it was in that picture they showed us.
Yeah.
Yeah. I really wanted to see a skeleton with a blue jogging suit on.
Not today.
Future Kurt here again, real quick. I just got to tell you. So this was also an FF. It slipped my mind. It's an ep called The Cheater, Season 7, if you want to peep it. It's only available on YouTube because they kept playing the song in the ep that was Walter Scott's biggest hit, The Cheater.
The song is called The Cheater. With Bob Cuban and the Inmen.
It's a banger. Here's a taste.
Look out for the cheater. Make way for the fool-hearted clown.
Anyway, check out this FF to see a 1999 era Mary Case discuss this case, but not about how she did the exhumation illegally. Weird, right? I mean, but hey, points back to FF. They do show the jogging suit in the cistern, all right? So if you're into that, boom. Sorry, I'm a little self-conscious about how much I like forensic facts now, because it's something that's about to happen in the app. Back to it. They get it to the morgue, and they find out that the hands and feet are tied together, and there's a gunshot to the chest, because they do an x-ray, and they find a bullet in there. And it was with I think like a rifle.
It was a rifle.
A shotgun or something, because she's like, this was too powerful. This is not suicide.
No.
Which we know. But it's like he was blown away with something super close. They tied him up so it'd be easier to move him around. And this was another Mary Case is like, oh, you'd like to adipocere? Well, guess what? When you're shot at close range with a high velocity rifle, it creates a bullet breakdown in the body that they call a snowstorm. I like that.
So shrapnel's just going everywhere.
Yeah. I mean, I've never heard of a snowstorm used like that. Isn't that cool?
Cool.
Okay, I don't understand why you're not so pumped about these words.
You know, I'm just trying to make it sound like we're not getting off on people's death.
That's why? I mean, I'm excited about the forensics of it. I'm cutting that out, dude. Made me look like an asshole. Jesus.
Sure was damp today.
So, boom. Jim Williams is indicted on 2 counts of murder. They freaking got him. But they're going, there's got to be a second party involved. Because think of all these car drop-offs that were done. Like, at least the airport drop-off, like, that had to be someone involved.
2 cars were used in both cases.
Yeah.
The crash site and the airport. So there's an accomplice somewhere.
And they're thinking, well, it's got to be friggin' Joanne.
Gotta be.
And as we've seen, that'd be our first guess. Not talking to the parents. Canceling all the stuff. Hooking up with this guy the morning after.
Yeah.
Why did she call Jim up and say, come over? and support me
That
during
looks
this.
so bad.
What an idiot.
Do you feel like Sharon and Joanne looked similar? Just one was blonde and one was a brunette?
I don't know if I saw Sharon's picture enough to make that connection, but I'm gonna trust you.
I felt like Jim had a type.
Okay. This is weird because in the episode they say that Joanne said that Walter wouldn't allow her to divorce him. And then Jim didn't want to divorce Sharon because she would get half of his business.
Joanne said that Walter would not give her a divorce, and Jim didn't want to get a divorce from Sharon because he had a very successful business.
How did they know that Joanne wanted a divorce and stuff? Do you think she had talked about that to someone else?
To her friends, maybe?
Maybe. Because, like, Jim goes to trial and is guilty and is sent to prison for life. Like, he gets straight up first-degree murder. He's done for.
He was found guilty, and he was given life without parole.
They take Joanne to court. She gets 5 years, doesn't even serve that.
What if it was all her idea?
That's what's so. If I was Jim in jail, I'd be so pissed. Because, I'm Jim, I did all the heavy lifting. This was her as well. I mean, I'm not saying it's all her. She's just as much involved here.
It takes two to tango. They both
Yeah.
murdered a spouse.
Yeah. Oh, I had a quick question. Do you think that when Joanne and Jim got married, do you think she was like, let's do a prenup so you don't feel like you have to kill me? I don't want your stupid electricity store, okay?
I've often thought about saying to my husband, if you don't want to be in this marriage anymore, please don't kill me. Just leave.
Yeah. What's he say?
Well, jokingly, he then tells me all the different ways he would kill me.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, but I wonder, okay, so they had to get divorced, right?
Yeah, probably.
They didn't specify.
I'm sure he would want to once he saw how she got off scot-free.
Yeah. God, if I were him, I'd be like, no, come back. I can give you guys some more dirt here. Absolutely. Oh, and Mary Case had to testify, and I tried to get pictures of this.
She said it's the first time she's ever done that. She wore a white suit to court because she was the voice of reason.
Yeah.
It was like, okay, I'm the voice of justice here, and I'm going to have my special white suit.
I love that. I really tried to Goog for this trial, and all the pictures I could find were, of course, black and white, but she wasn't in any of them. I wanted to see her work in this power suit or whatever, but...
Shoulder pads or no?
Props. I mean, this trial's in the 80s, right? Yeah. All right. So that brings us to the end of this. Pretty friggin' this whole thing about her doing an illegal exhumation, I just think is so baller. I've never heard of anything like it before.
I loved it.
And like, there's that case with the lady in the dunes. Remember all that drama with that lady getting the wrong permission for the exhumation? Remember how it like ruined her career, even though she went the right way? Like, this is... And
Dr. Mary Case is like, f it.
Yeah. I'll apologize later type of thing. And it friggin' worked. Wow. All right. Well, that brings us to our lists. What do you got?
Kate's unnamed list. Well, Florida.
The sheriff decides they were going to go down to Florida.
Gotta count it.
And I wish I could say there was a car, because there was, but we didn't get any details about it.
Okay.
I'm thinking of those episodes where make and model and year are all part of the investigation.
Yeah, I'm with that. No small town, huh? They sure talked it up. Although, I know people who live in St. Charles, and I don't think it's small.
No, and the detective even said that it was small, but it has grown. And at that point, it was growing.
Yeah, it was like a farming community that had grown. So yeah, in the 80s, it was on the way up. So it slipped by your small town.
It's a suburb of St. Louis, really. So.
Gotcha. Anything else?
That's it.
On to Kurt's Kick-Ass List.
Kick-Ass List.
Coincidence. Them mentioned in coincidence. Now on my list, welcome.
Coincidences don't exist in law enforcement. They just don't exist.
And also this one, one more item that's on my list. Quote, they start putting the pieces together. Uh-oh. Puzzle bench slipped by ya.
Okay. Well, I'm glad you caught it.
Thank you.
They start putting the pieces together.
Now, listen, it would be your right now to go, but they didn't say puzzle. All they said was piece. But it's my list, bro. And that was enough. I got half of it. They're putting pieces together. That's puzzle talk, bro.
What other pieces would they be besides puzzles?
Exactly. Absolutely. You're right. So, boom, 2 items for me, 2 items for you. That's all I got. That's all I got.
I think that's going to do it.
And on that note, I'm Kurt Money.
I'm Kateline.
It was like, okay,